I can't hear you. You messing up already? Actually, I think I should put the song that actually got me inspired to actually play this conversation that we started with. What are you doing?
Hello?
Yes, you're good.
Wait, hold on. I wanted to do something. Hold on. I probably won't hear this. Hello?
Yeah.
You can hear me? Oh, obviously you can hear me.
Can you hear yourself? Can you hear me? Because that one, the reason I got these mics is guys, and it's an XLR cable, a USB port cable, and the other one. The different ones. Can't hear you.
Mid and minus sign.
Oh, that's a mic. Don't touch that. I had to for my settings. What does he have right now? You're messing up the vibe. What are you doing? We're trying to talk and you're here. What are you doing?
Nothing. I'm just asking questions.
The thing should be on the mid. Is it towards the mid?
It is on the mid.
Okay.
I was just puta, Jova. It's already like how it was. I didn't move it.
You better not be moving.
I'm just asking questions.
Hey, what you trying to do?
Are you already recording?
Yes.
Why? I wasn't aware of this.
You want to tell people why we playing with 24 karat magic in the air? Because you was hating on someone's chains. You gonna say on the podcast?
I wasn't hating on
You're
anybody.
hating. You're a hater.
No, I wasn't. You know what I thought you... Hashtag fresh.
Honestly, we go to Vegas. We should probably hopefully.
I wanted to go. That's why I thought that was the reason why you were playing it.
Hey. It's actually not my favorite song from him. I'm playing my favorite song from him. Well, I'll play two songs. I'll play the song that I knew him from, but I'll play my first one first. Actually, no, I'll play my favorite one at the end. Hey. What y'all trying to do? This is a song that I knew him from. I hated this song.
I love this song.
Just the way you are.
Alright.
And I tell her every day.
I don't. Fuck that.
Yeah, I know. When I compliment her, she won't believe me. And it's so.
You tell women the truth and they treat you like shit. What's the point, man?
But every time she asks me, do
That's why guys don't love. We just
I say.
stick to
Ready?
ourselves.
You know what they say?
When I see your face,
I feel nothing.
there's not a thing that I would change.
I would change everything.
'Cause you're amazing.
She's not amazing.
Just the way you are.
No, she has to change in order to be
Baby,
amazing.
baby.
And when you smile,
Please don't.
the whole world stops and stares for a while.
That's
'Cause
gaslighting.
girl, you're amazing. Just the way you are. Her lips, I could kiss them all day if she let me.
You know he was my man?
See, I don't care about that conversation.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You put me...
Put this and be drunk on the 405. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, you at the 405. The 405 is the worst freeway to do.
It's the worst freeway ever. Now, actually, don't be drunk and driving. Don't ever drink and drive. I was just saying the whole point is like, have a good time.
But not on the 405.
Well, you can be in the 405 drunk. Just make sure it's an Uber.
At least like the 210 or something, but like the 405.
Those who are from LA, they know. They get it.
I don't think they would want to drive in the 405. I don't want to drive on the 405. But honestly, you put a...
Oh, sorry, you're
That
talking?
was so rude of you, Jovany.
You ever just want to sign somebody, but you can't? Is your mute button on? It would be funnier if like there was like a visual because it makes no sense.
Well, you should record right now. What's stopping you? Add the thing in. Why can't you record right now?
I don't have no memory. I don't have the plug-in for the thing.
What do you mean?
Hold up. Stop hating, man. This is my podcast. Don't you ever touch? Don't you ever touch the set? Stop it! Okay. One more song or just that one?
That's it.
That's it, right?
We're done.
Yeah, get to the point.
But he was my man and shit. If you put any songs of his, I would know him.
Really? For real?
Yeah. I loved him. But I would want to go to his little lounge thing
Oh, we're
in
going.
Vegas.
I'm down. I'm down. I am down. Let's see. I think of another song. Let's do one more.
Why can't we be friends? Get us ready for our topic.
Wanna do Friends? By War? No.
I think it's that one.
That one? Well, you're the one that want to talk about the topic. So we're doing this podcast.
Why can't we be friends?
Because I don't want to be friends. All right, jokes aside, here's that. We got the point. Okay,
there's
so-
a song.
All right, this is episode. What episode are we in, actually?
Oh.
I think it's episode 42 of the Jovany Ventura Show. I am your host, Jovany Ventura.
And I'm your co-host.
What's your name?
Somewhat co-host.
What's your name?
Edith.
Thank you. Okay, so you are a big. Obviously, we're going to title this. Right now, we tell you the topic of this. The main reason I'm doing this podcast and the main topic when I do the episode title is going to be friendships. Now, do you want to make it spicy? You want to be like friendships and how people turn your back when they're pieces of shit, and like something like that, a little more hostile, or just keep it like simple?
I like how you're talking about this in the podcast.
Well, yeah, for sure.
I mean,
Because sometimes it's true. Like they're not dumb. Like you click on something because it's not clickbait. I want to say clickbait because I wouldn't want to be a platform.
Giovanni's trying to make everything click.
No, I don't. I would never want to make a platform that's clickbaity. But I'm saying is
You
like
are making it.
how is it clickbaity? Some sexy songs for you hoes was the last title of the last one. That totally makes sense.
I didn't listen to that one, so
You did listen to that album.
no.
Oh, it's
I
the
haven't-
episode. Of course not. You don't support my dreams. So actually, speaking of friendships, how do you? Okay, yeah, that's the first good question. In a friendship, right?
Mm-hmm.
How would you feel if like you don't have the support of a friend in something you feel is important to you?
Then they're not your friend.
Mm.
Okay.
Interesting you would say that.
Apply that to a
So
relationship.
how would you apply that to a relationship?
The same way.
Okay.
Well, because
Funny you should say that.
Oh.
Pause right there though. How would you feel?
Are we talking about friendships or
I'm
relationships?
sorry, I'm trying to get my shit off, but like, how would you feel if it's only one-sided, where you expect that person to be there for everything that you need, but you're not willing to do that?
Are
with the other
you just
person?
trying to have a therapy session
Sorry,
right
sorry.
now?
I thought it was I thought it was that was my therapist. Actually,
No.
would you go to therapy?
Yeah.
I would go to therapy.
I would go to
I
therapy
talked
too.
about my cousin.
I just feel like I need to find a good therapist, and I don't think I've started that journey because I've heard like horror stories about that.
Yeah.
In a sense, not like horror stories, but like kind of like, oh, it takes a long time to find someone that you're actually like, and then having to explain like to a person like everything that you went through over and over again to see if there's that like click that like,
Yeah.
oh, they're getting it, they understand it, or this is what I need in some like
Well,
someone.
I was talking about that. Funny enough, with my cousin, obviously studied it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jesse. And he was saying how don't ever go for the people that are online because they just grab anybody. They don't have to. At least like certain firms or quote unquote firms, when they're not called firms. They at least have like a certain credential. Doesn't mean they're good because like you know, because I was talking about when you go to a doctor, they're gonna get doctors. Well, yeah, it's the same thing in
Yeah, it's the same thing with
Same
doctors.
thing.
Oh, trust me, yeah, I
Just the
know.
only thing is, okay, at least if you go there, you know, they at least have like their shit in order as in paperwork, right? Just make sure you don't go to the ones online because a lot of them do. Trust me, it's just like anybody gets in there. Trust me.
Really?
That's what he was saying. So I'm like, because I always thought, I'm like, I don't mind going to. We were talking about therapy and how Latinos really, a lot of them, well, our dad's generation, like all need to go to therapy. We argue we need to go to therapy too, but they really need to go to therapy. And he was saying how like he tried to make like light of it, but like, into a joke, he was like, I would honestly want to be in the therapy session with with my father, not be the therapist, but just want to see what he says.
Yeah.
But he's like, sometimes it's like just be aware, like obviously it's like, you know, you want to find a good therapist. I'm like, no, I would. I actually would. I was telling him like I would go. It's just like you're saying, it's like it's kind of scary to. Am I gonna open myself up and that person's not even good what he does? Like, bro, it might
Yeah.
get worse or better because the same
Yeah.
thing. It's like you going to a doctor and instead of him helping you, instead of going for one replacement, a knee replacement, now you need a hip or something. 'Cause
But
just
you know
need
what's so funny? I think now that you're kind of comparing it to the doctors, I feel like I've had that with my doctors too. That I'm like, remember how I told you I'm like I didn't like this doctor and how she went,
yeah, for
you
sure.
know, she did things, and then my other doctor was a little bit better. And then now the doctor that I have now, like my specialist and stuff, I'm kind of like, oh, I like her. Like, you know, like
Yeah.
she's kind of on her shit and like, you know, but like how, like again, I knew what I liked and I knew what I didn't like. And I'm like, okay. And I guess it's the same thing with like therapy. But I feel like that's just a little bit more personal. You get me? Like, it's just like
It is personal.
my whole life, I've had therapy before. I had 2 therapists. One growing up, and then the other one, I was like, what, like 19, 19, 20, probably around there. And but I only went with her for a little bit. I was going through like a midlife crisis. Um, but honestly, I didn't feel any like connection. And it was like in person. And my other therapist would come to my house and like, you know, we would have like sessions there. But the other one I would have to go well, also cuz I was like underage too, so like she would come to my house and we'll have like therapy sessions in my room. And then the other one I had to go, and I don't know, I felt so weird going into like the room and like talking to somebody like that. I don't know. Like I would rather do it probably like through the phone or
Makes sense.
or like either FaceTime, you know, and like in my own home, you know, than actually going somewhere because I felt so weird. Like I felt like kind of like a lamp was like in my face. Well, tell me your past and tell me what you've been through and tell me how you feel and how does that make
Probably
you feel?
unsafe, not unsafe, but it's like you have the safety, security at home.
Well, yeah, but I feel like also it depends. Like it's a therapist or a psychologist, because I think that scares me too. Because a psychologist could technically prescribe you medication,
Yeah.
and a therapist obviously just listens to you and just
I
they
want.
could
I
get
want.
your
Yeah.
shit
I
off.
want to go to therapy. I don't think I would go to.
A psychologist.
No.
Yeah.
Bro, we're not doing that either.
Yes.
It's a little
Psych.
too much. Okay, so
Oh, you were asking about what's the difference of if someone like a friendship didn't support you in something or something like that, and then we
yeah,
changed
but
it to therapy.
I was mostly just taking shots at you because that's how I feel. But why are you laughing? But no, you wanted that the conversation was because of the whole. What do you deem? Well, I don't know. The topic was friendships.
Yeah.
So,
Because I think I don't know if I heard in another podcast or something that they were
Mhm.
talking about friendships, and I was like, oh,
that's interesting.
that is interesting. I'm like, that would be an
Well,
interesting.
I mean, just
topic
yesterday
to
you were
talk about.
talking ish, saying how I don't have any friends.
Okay,
That's what you said.
I didn't say that you didn't have
That's
any
what you
friends.
said.
No, you no.
That's what she said.
I didn't say that. I said, and I quote, because you were talking
That's
about.
what she said. Go ahead. I'm just letting the audience know that's what you said. That's what she said.
Jovany.
What?
No, it's just that you talk about all these people and stuff, and I'm like, dude, I've never met these people since we've dated. I live with you, and puta, like I don't even like you don't talk to them. I don't
Well, because
know.
the thing is, well, like some of them are just.
You see, so they're acquaintances. They're not. Friends.
No, they are friends. It's just once again, guys and girls are different. Well, Eric has been on the podcast. Eric for a while was coming on the podcast. Yes or no? You listened to the episode. One of the best episodes. Jade is for sure one of the best episodes.
Oh,
one of the most.
yeah.
So he was there. Obviously, I still talk to him. It's just he's going through things in his life or just in general. Like when now he lives in Palm, not that far actually. He's in Palm now.
Oh, that's.
But things
that's
like
right.
things happen. Brian is obviously out of state because he actually like I think he's doing a trucking now. So it's obviously are we friends? Of course. But you understand we're like we have to hang out all the time. It's like that's not how that works, you know. Like mind you, during that time, think about
I'm not saying that you have to hang out. Just to me, it's like, okay, one, they don't live near here, so I'm like, I didn't know that, and you don't talk to them on the phone. Not that I know.
No, we're more like friends as in like when we catch up with everything type of thing.
Well, yeah.
And most of the time when that happens, we hang out like a
but
month
like
or two.
I've never heard of them. No, well, the Eric
They're on the
guy,
podcast.
yes, the Eric guy, yes.
Yeah. But since then, since we've been talking, have you seen that guy or me hit him up or anything? Probably not.
No.
Well, not that there's any bad blood. Just like for sure, we're like.
Well, no.
How do I explain it? When we talk each other. We'll talk each other a lot, and then we'll stop, and then we'll talk a
Yeah.
lot, and it's just that type of friendship. But it doesn't mean like we're not friends or anything. Like if I got married tomorrow, I would invite them. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, yeah, I get you.
And if they don't show up, I'd be like, all right, cool, that's how we're moving now. Speaking of so many friends, if you were to get married, how many bridesmaids would you have? One,
Probably
two?
like
3?
maybe like 4.
Actually, that's funny. I think we've, changing the subject a little. I think we both like have met each other halfway, in the sense of like
In what sense?
for like you've learned things from me that you picked up in your own life, and then vice versa, right? Which you're supposed to. Like
What
the
do you mean?
good things, obviously. Well, you're talking about you used to be so emotional, you know how to express yourself. You're emotional, but you know how to express yourself. Like you're not as emotional, but you do express yourself better.
Not that I didn't know how to express myself. I think it's just that like I was just too into my emotions. That
Sure.
like at that moment when you would like ask me, I would be like.
The only point I bring
Yeah.
that up is because I see the marriage thing. You used to be like, oh, I want a big wedding. Now you're more like in my side where it's like, I do want a nice wedding, but tampoco like over
Like
the
throwing
top.
throwing the house
it's
outside
like,
the window.
I you still want a nice one, of course,
Yeah.
but it's not like you used to think. You know what I'm
I
saying?
feel like now, I mean, the older I'm getting, even though I'm not that old.
She's old.
No, I'm not.
You're old.
I think I'm understanding. I think I'm more understanding of how things work in life and like how weddings are more like what you may call it.
You feel like they're most people would say that they're more for
The guests.
than the actual people enjoying it.
Yes.
Do you actually believe in that or no?
Yes and no.
Okay.
And I say that because obviously it's our wedding. We're gonna enjoy it. We're gonna pause because Jovany has to go to the bathroom.
Pause right there.
I forgot my train of thought. About what? The wedding. Well, I think I've always wanted a big wedding because I feel like no one in my family has ever had a big wedding except my cousin. And still to this day, I think he's the only one that has had a big wedding. And it wasn't like even that big, but it was like in the salon and like, she was wearing the white dress and all of that. So I think it was really nice.
I was about to say define a big wedding.
But like, like the whole shebang was like, bridesmaids and they got married at a church and all of that.
Did you cry?
I think I was like, what, 13? 12, 13, 12, 13, 14.
I don't know how.
So I don't think, I mean, I thought it was cute. And I was like, oh, and then my aunt also had a wedding, but she had it like in the backyard of someone's house. I mean, that's not the point, right? But like, I think like I want a traditional wedding.
You want a traditional wedding?
Well, like traditional in the sense of like having a hall and doing that, and, like experiencing that, because I feel like it's in my first and my last wedding type of thing. You know?
only planning getting married once?
Yeah.
What if you try to meet somebody better?
Well, I'll divorce, but I don't think I would remarry.
That's
Because
interesting.
it's not like
Why?
the
Because of a
first
religious
time.
thing, or you just think you just in general you don't want to do it again?
No, I just don't want to do it again because it's just like my first time. Like like I don't want to do it again. Like probably I would be with that person and like probably have like a ring, but I think I would probably just like if I end up let's say
Mm-hmm.
if I end up getting married, I think it would just be like an elope thing type of thing. Like, oh, okay, yeah, like por el civil and that's it. But like it's not like the whole shebang.
Oh, shebang.
Yeah.
Shebang.
'Cause I think that I mean, to me personally, I think that means something. But and I also feel like it's better because it's just like an intimate thing with like the people that are actually around you. Because I'm like, well, you're gonna invite like hella people that you don't talk to, or you're not gonna talk. Or
Well, that's what I told you. I was like, at most, I think, in my guess, probably like 50. And I told you how I wouldn't have kids there. Oh, that sounds
Oh
fucked
yeah,
up.
I wouldn't want to have kids either. Yeah, I think that was what we talked about. That I wouldn't want to have kids.
Okay.
Like at the wedding.
So, back to the friendships thing.
Yeah, we're getting off a topic here. Like,
well, because it was a good conversation. But what is it that you want to get off your chest? What do you want to tell your friends?
what the heck?
They listen to the podcast.
Oh.
Should do that? I don't think they do. Huh? I think you say what you want. Go ahead, talk shit to them.
What are you talking about?
How do you feel badly about your friends? Clearly, something about your friends is triggering you.
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
It seems like it.
What the heck?
You can be honest in this podcast.
This is
the one platform where you can say how you
this
feel.
Is just
we listen and we don't judge. We don't judge.
We do.
The audience doesn't judge me.
So you think?
But they never told me anything.
Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, because they can't talk to you.
They can type on my thing. Type in the podcast.
They're gonna be like,
Type in Twitter.
they're like
Aventura _ Jovany. Or they can do on IG. Or they can do on the actual website. Go ahead. What's your question for friendships?
This is one of them. What are some challenges you faced in friendships? And that means like any friendships that you've had. I think I have one for you, but
Go ahead.
no.
I just say it. Say it. We listen and we don't judge. I'm gonna judge the shit out of her. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think there was a situation where something was said that was obviously false, and then you start talking to this person, and then but now you guys are fine. But at that point, it wasn't okay.
Oh, you're talking about the situation talking about the podcast?
I don't think you ever talked about it on the podcast.
I'm pretty sure I talked about it on the podcast.
Really?
I think so.
I don't know.
Who are you talking about? Oh, yeah. We talked about the podcast.
Oh,
yeah.
really? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I talked about it on the podcast. I'm telling you, on the podcast, we listen and we don't. I feel like the podcast, I think it's my mom in about the podcast, my dad.
Oh, yeah.
The whole divorce thing. Like,
well,
they're not getting divorced and that. No, I've always been very open. I don't think I've gotten into a conversation where I shouldn't bring it up or something like that. I would see, like, yes. So that's what you're talking about was the only time about where someone accused me of trying to have sex with their girlfriend. That was on the podcast.
Yeah.
And then what was your question again?
Well, like, let me repeat the question.
Oh, how did it affect your friendships?
I said, what are some challenges you faced in a friendship? I think that was
challenges?
probably...
Okay, well, can I be honest with you? That situation? Well, that situation, I already talked about it, but obviously you know about it because I told you. I'll be honest with you. I think, how do I say this? I'm not saying I'm trying to make light of it or gaslight the situation, but it's like...
What do you mean gaslight?
What I'm saying is like, okay, like, that's a very, very big accusation.
Yeah.
Right?
People accuse you of a lot of things, huh?
Actually, it's funny. Remember that thing that someone said, and I'm like, and I always say I'm gonna hold you accountable to that.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
It's funny. I was talking about TT about it, and she's like, she started laughing. She's like, bro, I never would like. There's so many like you. I never would even like use that term. I mean, I know because I always say like, in time, everything comes out.
But you know what's so funny?
And two, it's like the way you carry yourself is always gonna carry yourself.
I guess no one will. Okay, you know how they say like, oh, you see your partner a certain way versus how other people see your partner because you obviously see the good and the bad in them.
Sure.
It's so funny because like certain situations, I tell Jazz and Jazz are like, well, you know, Jazz are like,
This is your friend named Jazz.
Yeah, my friend Jazz.
Yeah.
She's not like, I could never see Jovany do that. And I was like, or say that. And I was like, but he does. And he,
Well,
you know.
no, for sure, of course, like we're.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Like, other people don't have that perception of you. But I'm like, oh, trust me. You know,
okay, but what way?
We're not all angels.
Explain it.
About what?
Don't you do that in the interpretation? You said, oh, he's not an angel. What do you mean by that? So what's the quote unquote when I act devilish? What's you consider me being devilish?
No, it's just that, like, obviously, like, when we have arguments and stuff, and you know how you give advice to Jazz, and she's like, but he says that he'll never do X, Y, and Z, but he did do X, Y, and Z.
I didn't do X, Y, and Z. Okay, give me an example of X, Y, and Z. There you go, good example. Say it on the podcast. You already brought up the other situation, and I'm still going to talk about it. I'm not going somewhere else. So then talk about that one. Just say it.
Oh, you want me to say it?
Yeah, say whatever situation you want to say. Or you don't have to be like so specific, but just give something so I can then make the other kind of argument to it.
Okay.
So Jazz says he says you should do this, but then you're saying, oh, but he does do that type of thing.
No.
Well, then explain. Stop leaving innuendos.
What I'm trying to say is, like, I told her about a situation, and she's like, I would have never thought that Jovany would be like that or do stuff like that, right? And then I was like, oh, but he does. And she's like, and he gives she was saying, like, oh, and he gives all these advices like that. I would never thought that would be him type of thing.
Okay, but you talking about that specific situation, that one, or you talking about in general?
No, in that one.
Okay, well, that specific situation, that's still not. I said the same thing you did. Only difference is I said it differently, but that's why I told you the same conversation. It's like, why do you have such a problem with me saying that when you said the same thing? You may say it differently, but it's the same thing.
What do you mean?
What I'm saying is this, right? Because this is why I'd rather you just say it. So let's say, like, for instance, me and Edith break up, right? The point I'm trying to make to her is, okay, like, I'm going to... What the hell?
That was wrong.
That was wrong. What are you trying to press?
I was like, boo. Is it this one?
No. Are you going to hit all the buttons until you find it?
Probably.
That's not it either. That's not it either.
Crickets.
No.
Oh, that one.
Oh, fine.
Me and Edith break up.
Okay, so stop. So the point is,
cut the tape.
Let's say we're gonna break up, right? The reason her friend said, like, oh, I never thought he would say that is because situation where I'm like, okay, like, if you keep doing this while I'm telling you to stop doing it, yes, we're gonna break up, right? Now, in her eyes, it was more like, how could you say that? It's more like, no, you should never say it. Like, no, I'm telling you something. Like, I'm trying to work something out with you, but if you keep doing the same thing, like, how do I say that? I don't mind arguing with you. I don't mind even fighting with you. Obviously never physically.
Likes arguing?
Yeah, but obviously never physically like that. I'm saying fighting as in, like, discussions, like, but whatever's right. I don't mind doing that. It's funny. I don't mind doing that every day. What I won't do every day is have the same fight and conversation every day. So
about the same topic.
Exactly. So the whole point that day with the whole Jackson, when she brought that up, obviously I did. And it's like, no, bro. It's like, I'm telling you something, and we have a conversation. It's like, I'm getting sick of it. I'm not gonna keep having a discussion. Kind of like, you know what's funny? Kind of like today. You said something that you wanted to apologize for.
I did apologize.
That's not the point. Let me finish.
What are you talking about?
Let me finish.
Joa.
Let me finish. The whole point. See, this is why it kind of goes, You guys getting a first glimpse of it on recording, and we can replay it. Don't you stop saying that? I can record it, and then I can play it back. Okay.
See, you did talk like that. You're like, I don't talk like that.
You did that, right? I couldn't make it to a bigger thing.
You could have.
I could also be like, dude, I already told you not to do that, right?
But I didn't mean to.
Let me finish. I'm saying from my perspective.
I understand that.
Right? Because you're just saying, I don't want to fight about the same thing. Well, you just said, right?
Yeah.
So in my head, I already thought, am I really going to have this discussion again? No.
Yes,
I'm not going
but I
to.
didn't mean to.
That's awesome. But you have to understand, that's the whole thing with Jazz, because that's what people say. When you tell your friend a story, are you saying both sides or just your side, right? Which one saying you just tell your side because you're venting to a friend, right? Which makes sense. I'm not holding you against that, right? But that's the whole point with Jazz. That situation you're talking about, I'm like, no, bro. It's like, Jovany gave the best advice, but the same thing is like today too. It's like, I'm not gonna be fighting. I was like, bro, I already told her if that's what she wants to do, cool. Go ahead.
What I'm trying to say is that someone else is not gonna know your partner the way that you do. Because
oh, for sure.
Obviously, like, I live with you. I know how you are. I know how you could be, and then it's like the same way goes with you with me. You know how I am. You know how I could be, and like all of that. That's
for sure.
That's the point here. That is just like that. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Percy, continue to what you were saying.
Yeah,
though.
so I was right, you're wrong. Okay.
Sure.
So, no, I forgot. Edith Valdez is never wrong. Never.
Oh my God, Jovany. You just
so
want to fire right now,
I'm
dude.
not, bro.
Mostly all the time when we're on the podcast, you're always trying to like.
I'm not arguing with you. It's
you're
just
trying to
it's
start
just sometimes I feel like
fights.
I'm venting to the audience with you. Like I feel like I have so much anger. Why is that funny to you? Me talking
'Cause
about how
can't.
I feel is funny.
No, it's just that I can't.
So that's how
personally.
you treat me. See, that's gaslighting because I'm making something up. Okay,
What
so
the heck?
back to the other situation. No, so I usually go to gaslighting. It's not that I make light of it. It's just like how do I explain it? Because in friendships you quote unquote know the person. Would you say that?
Mm-hmm.
So and that's when that person said that and accused me of that. I knew two things. That's why I straight out told him like this has more to do with you
Mm-hmm.
and something that whether it be your insecurity or something you have to, or I should say your insecurity or something you have with your girl of not trusting, right?
Yeah.
When what happened as time passed on, yeah, that's where it lied. It lied with their relationship and the way he felt she was moving or things she would do that he didn't like,
Yeah.
and then he called it out to me, type of thing. But at that point, I told him I'm like, because most of the times you're right. That I guess what I'm trying to say, maybe if like, not that I'm saying like, how could I explain it? Not that obviously, let's say there's a hint of me flirting with this girl, but let's say there was like something of like,
Okay, but
well,
like
let me
the
finish.
things that
Let me
I
finish.
saw.
Let me finish. Hold on. Where I'm saying, I'm talking about me.
But-
Talking about me as Jovany Ventura. Maybe if I would have felt like, okay, like you shouldn't be doing X, Y, and Z, then I would have been like, damn, okay, I fucked up, but also like, how can you still accuse me of that? Boom. When that happened, I was like, bro, I already felt like there's nothing to do with me.
No
or something.
offense, but what I've seen during that time, puta, either like she was overstepping and you didn't know how to like put that line, you know.
But I don't think
that.
it's about overstepping.
It is overstepping.
I think it was
because
just.
think about it in a sense of, let's say, vice versa. If I had a friend and I was, you know, doing all of that and this and that, you know, with my friend's partner, like that's fucking weird. I wouldn't let that slide. You know what I'm trying to say? Like you have to put yourself in that other person's shoes.
Yes,
you know?
but you know how that conversation earlier you said, okay, it's different when you're with somebody, when you're not with somebody, right? Yes or no? You said that earlier.
Yes.
Okay, so same thing. We'll bring up TT.
Mm-hmm.
We got to talk about her on the podcast. It's like there's just certain things that change. Like, okay, obviously, like we're friends, right? But now I'm in a relationship.
Yes, but
She's okay, but let me finish. The whole point I'm trying to make is like things change as in like you wouldn't talk the same in the sense of like, okay, after a certain time, like she's probably with Al. Oh, well, sorry, name. She's probably with
Ow.
I'm like, I don't want to say his name, so I'm like, once he's on the podcast, I'll say his name, right? But I say she's with him or I'm with you, it's kind of like, oh, would you want to show up, right? Unless it's an emergency, right?
Yes,
But that's
that is
different.
not the
Before, I would have
same
been like, oh,
thing.
what's up? What's not?
No, that's not what I'm trying to tell you, though.
Then what are you trying to say?
What
Say
I'm
it for the podcast.
trying to say is that there were certain limits that you could have like been like, hey, I don't like that you do X, Y, and Z, right? Like the whole.
But you also have to understand you have to give the outside perspective too on that one. Some things I don't really see
yeah, because
once
to
also
me, I was
also
kinda
too
like, how did you
also
not see
too
these
though
things that
you're a
were
girl,
suspicious?
you have your perspective.
True.
I'm a guy, I have my perspective.
Yeah.
We're not gonna see things the same.
Oh, that's true. Well,
So-
it's the same thing like how you said.
No,
like,
okay, no question.
on.
Question though.
Hold
Once
on.
you
Can
brought,
I-
hold
can
up
I
though.
talk?
Okay, no, hold up, no,
Jeez, bro.
because you're not even asking my question. But once you gave me your perspective,
You still.
what?
You were like, I never saw that, and I was
No,
like,
that's not what I'm saying. Did I
No.
change things in the sense of like, oh, okay, I can see how that's.
a little bit.
Don't say a little bit. Say yes or no. Stop making excuses.
I'm
Why
not-
is it so hard for you to be around? Can we talk about that too?
Oh my god,
Like, why is?
Jovany.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know, what, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah.
You were saying. You
No,
were saying
yeah.
about the whole the topic. You were like, oh no, but
No, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's because, dude, I'm trying to talk and you don't let
Go
me
ahead,
talk.
bro.
No, because luego se me va la onda, then I forget what I
Nah,
was going to say.
excuses,
I swear.
broski.
I swear.
Okay, so that situation, obviously, I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with the podcast. Did that change? Even though I felt like I wasn't really like, wasn't about me.
I'm saying that, like, the question, there is no.
Hold up though, but I'm.
Puta,
answering the
Jova, you're not
question.
even answering the damn question.
I
I said,
am.
what are some challenges that you faced in friendships?
Well, that right there, because I'm gonna get to it. So even though I'm saying like, oh, like, it's it was more about him and about their relationship than me.
Mm-hmm,
Obviously, it still was said.
mm-hmm,
So obviously, do I view the friendship the same? No, I'd be lying to you.
mm-hmm.
It's not the same as it used to
Mhm.
be, because it that's one of the challenges. Like, okay, things do change. And I told the person too, I'm like, hey, next time,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, obviously not with the same person, but see you go with somebody else.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, I told them like, you better make sure
Mm-hmm.
next time we don't have the discussion. I'm saying like, I don't even care if one day you see me flirting with the girl,
Yeah.
with your girl, your new girl. It has to be like legitly, or you think I'm flirting. I'm saying like, you legit see me trying to kiss her.
Mm-hmm.
I do kiss her or have sex with her. Then you can say that, and then I'll be like, cool. Because if you even give me a hint of that, I will never talk to you again. And I told him that. So that I guess it'd be a challenge of like, we're gonna call it boundaries or something.
Yeah.
But ever since then, like you said, we're still cool with each other. But
Yeah.
are we the same? No, because obviously it was something you had to talk about.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, but what about you? What about challenges you have with your friends?
Ooh.
Friend or friends?
Friends or friends? I think I've had a lot of challenges with my friends.
Define challenges with them.
I've always been a person that has given more in a friendship or in any type of relationship, because a friendship is a relationship in a sense. You know, you give time.
Like we discussed this.
Yeah. But
I feel like you can. When you just described yourself, I would say not just your friends, but you point blank. Period. I think you always give more than the other person. Would it be with family? Would it be friends? Would it be with
yeah.
this in general?
But
I
I
think
feel like
that's just the way you are.
Yeah, but I think
To a fault.
now I'm learning, or like I've been learning how to like not like hold back, right? But I feel like give what the other person is giving, if that makes sense. Because I think over time, like I would always try to do that, because I could even remember in middle school, I had two friends. I've always been in a group of three. It's always weird. It's always been like three, three close friends, or even elementary también. Like, I remember Arlene, Brianna, and me. Or like, and then after that, Brianna kind of stopped hanging out with us, and it was Rachel, Arlene, and me. And then after that, like we all went to separate schools. I went to ¿cómo se llama? I went to middle school, and then it was just me and Valeria. And then la otra muchacha se llamaba
Denise the nice.
Denise or Desiree. No, Denise. Y luego ya de allí nomás era yo y Denise, y luego ya de ahí pues me and Valeria stopped being friends, and then I became friends with Jocelyn, and then it was Jocelyn, Joanne, and me, and then Joali would come and hang out with us for a little bit. Then me and Jocelyn still were friends because we went to high school together. And Joanne, yeah, we went to high school together. Then I stopped going to high school because I became homeschooled, and then after that, I didn't really have any friends. But I'm like, it's always been in three, so it's kind of crazy. But with each friends, obviously there's been challenges, right? There's been differences, and I've always been one closer to one person than the other. So I think that was also a challenge too, how to like balance
Friendships.
the friendships. And I think I've never been, and I've never wanted to be like the first, like the main head of the group. Because I remember like with Denise, no, ¿cómo se llama Denise? Denise and Val and me. Valeria was the one that was like the main head. Joanne, me, and Jocelyn. Jocelyn was the main head. So I was always like, I never wanted to be the main head.
You were a sidekick.
I was always a sidekick, but I think one of the biggest challenges that I remember having was with Joanne and Joss. My grandma passed away, and that was like a really hard time for me. And I didn't go to school. I ended up not going to Mexico with like my mom and all of that, but I missed school for like a whole week. And
How can you didn't go to Mexico?
money, like obviously
Oh.
it was like not like last minute, but it was kind of like
Yeah,
on the spot, and like it was expensive. And that time we knew my grandma was sick. We went to go visit her. a week or two later, that's when she passed away when we came back. So obviously it was kind of like fast. And then I didn't go to school for a whole week. They didn't text me. They didn't ask me if I was okay.
But did they know what was going on?
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I think that's when I started setting boundaries with friends too. That I was kind of like, when you need your friends the most, and I've always been a type of person. I'm like, oh my god, like my friend and their boyfriend broke up. I'm gonna go hang out with them. Um, I'm gonna go make them a basket. I'm gonna buy them something. Like I've always been like that because that's just me. And I feel like I don't necessarily need someone. I'm not that I need them to do the same thing for me, but at least
You would like to it.
meet me in the middle.
Can
Not
you
not
meet me
necessarily
halfway.
not necessarily making me a basket like that too, but like at least like, hey, let's hang out, or like call me on the phone, see what's up, Nothing. And dude, like I sent them a long text message and I was like, you know what? Like I can't be friends with you guys anymore because in times of need right now is when I needed my friends the most and you guys weren't even there. Or not even tried to look for me.
Did they try at least to like make the friendship after that or the conversation? No, they just kind of didn't try.
Joanne, I think, came to my house. I don't know if it was Joanne or Jocelyn that came to my house. No, I don't think it was Jocelyn. I think it was Joanne that was trying to make amends with me, but I was all like, okay, whatever. I had no bad blood towards her. And then me and Jocelyn stopped being friends for a little bit until and it's so funny. They always come back, like legit. They always come back and look for me to like, like apologize or whatever. And Joanne and Jocelyn were having fights, and then Jocelyn came back and looked for me, and she apologized and everything. She's like, "I'm so sorry," like this and that. I mean, me and her friendship went to shit too, though, because I was accused of trying to get with her man.
Well, the one you told me about?
The mom was accusing me of trying to get with her boyfriend.
Is that the one you told me about or no?
Which one?
The one with the Instagram, you still follow her now? You guys be cool again? That's a totally different girl. Actually, no, that didn't even sound like the same story.
No.
So so you stopped being friends with her because the mom accused you of trying to get at the boyfriend.
Well, the thing is that at that time when me and her started being friends again, I was with I had a boyfriend, and he was like a church kid.
Okay.
And people were doing their confirmations. Y tenía un amigo que se llamaba George. Let me telling all these people's names. I don't care. And I guess George was friends with my ex, and he introduced me to his friend. And I met his friends from church and this and that because I went one day, and then me and Jocelyn were talking again. And she's like, "Oh my god, guess what? I met this guy, blah blah, this and that. His name is George." And I'm like, "Oh my god, you know what's so funny? I just met a guy named George. It's my boyfriend's friend." She's like, "Really? Like we should all hang out, blah blah blah." We hung out. It was the same guy, and I was like, "Oh my god, what a small world!" Like we started talking again.
So how do you go from that to the mom being like, "Yo, she's trying to take your man"?
So me and my ex broke up during that time, and we were all close because we would all double date all the time. So we were all like really close. All four of us, yeah. So then when we broke up, he kind of stopped talking to him because he's like, "Bro, like I don't stand for what he did, like blah blah, like we're not even that cool anymore. Like we were just cool because we would see each other at church a lot.
Yeah.
But now like that he finished the confirmation thing, like he's like, I don't really see him as much, but like we're still cool on IG and stuff. But obviously like they stopped talking, and they were still together because they lived together. They started living together and stuff. And then so she would be like, when she was at work, because she would work at Charlotte Russe. She would always text me, and I was like, "Dude, I'm so sad." This and she's like, text George, like So she would know that I would be texting her, or we would talk on the phone and stuff. And then she's all like, "Just text him and like talk to him, like he knows." And he would like give me advice, like, "Dude, don't worry, like f him, like he's so dumb, blah blah."
Yeah.
But I think that Jocelyn told the mom, like, "Hey, like, yeah, Edith and George talk." And she's like, oh, ella te está tratando de quitártelo, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what?
Okay, but pause right there. We just had a conversation earlier about me and the friends and how you felt that people would do things and I want to set a boundary. So now I'm gonna ask you the same thing. Why didn't you set a boundary?
With what? With
That situation.
Well, the thing is that me and Jocelyn were friends since middle school, and mind you, this was already what high school. We were seniors already.
So
Puta, like imagine how
the reason I
long.
bring that up is because that means you're old enough. You were friends with her first, so you would think you would be like set boundaries.
So this is the thing. The mom era bien metida. Bien metida.
I don't think you understand what the question I'm saying.
I don't understand what you're trying to say.
Why
though.
didn't you? You just told me. Is what I'm saying. You gave an opinion, and I agree with you. You're like, well, the way you told me about me, like the way you're moving in this situation, I don't think that was right because, like, how could you not see it? That's what you said. So now I flip it to you. How could you not see what you were doing wasn't right?
Me talking to her, the boyfriend?
Yes.
But I wasn't. It was more like because he was also my friend.
You stop right there. You've always said if you're from one person, you're gonna be more from one person than the other. Yes or no?
But I didn't.
And Jocelyn was friends with you since
the thing. But
middle
the thing is that one, I didn't meet him because of Jocelyn.
That doesn't matter.
It does matter.
He was your boyfriend's friend.
Yes.
It wasn't like he was your friend and you introduced your other friend Jocelyn. They got together. No, it was your boyfriend's friend, which means an acquaintance. Then obviously he got with your friend. Cool.
Yeah, but
no matter how you try to flip it,
I know.
What I'm trying to say is
that.
you just gave it a perspective, which is fine.
Yes.
My only thing I'm trying to hold you accountable is to. It's funny how when it's not you, you see a certain way, but when it's you, you're like.
But what I'm trying to say is that like she's the one that's like, oh, talk to him.
And you should just be, oh no, it's fine.
I was, and then he would tell her to call me, and like it was his whole pedo. Whole point being, that's the point.
Well, the point is, what I think is also your mistake though.
Yeah.
Who cares if they call you this and that? You could have been like, you know what? Like you said,
I was very depressed during that time. I was like crying and bawling.
First of all, that's fine. When you're vulnerable, you see. I'm just trying to let you know how
she was my only friend.
True, which sucks,
at that time.
Which sucks too. That's your only friend. She's sending you to go talk to the boyfriend, not to her. That also does suck too. I see.
She was at work. How could
that
she not talk to? She couldn't talk to me.
I know, but I'm saying I see that perspective. The thing you're not getting at or you're not understanding is like it's just funny how you can see when it's.
Yes, I
now
understand
you and when
that.
it's you, you're like,
no, I get it, but also too, I knew him way longer. Like this is already me, like knowing this person. You didn't really know this person that long.
That doesn't mean anything to me. Okay, hold up. Okay, fine then. So to you, time means something.
It does mean something.
To me, it doesn't mean shit. I could be closer to the person I met 3 months ago than the person I know for 13 years. That's the way I am. Because same thing I go with blood, or he's family, he's a friend. If the friend I feel like is closer to me, and then I'll have the friend over the cousin. Yeah. Or if the cousin is closer, or if the cousin is closer to me than my brother, I'll choose the cousin, even though it's supposed you choose your brother because he's like closer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't see the way you see it. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's funny. That's what I'm saying. Keep saying it's funny how when it's not you, you're saying, oh, you should be doing this and this. But when it's you, it's like, oh, well, what about this? And it means something in this. And you know what I'm saying? It's like
okay, well, also
you
I
don't
was
see
younger.
That. See, that's why I brought it up.
Okay, then fine. I was younger.
No, making excuses. You're making excuses.
No, because you were older. What the hell, dude?
Yes. So
when you're older, you're wiser. I'm not. I wasn't wise that time. Okay,
so good excuse.
Whole point being, that was the gist.
The mom, but that was it. Just so the mom said that, then she stopped talking to you.
Yeah, and then the sister got involved too. It was this whole thing.
What did the sister tell you?
The same thing. And I was like, dude, I'm not even trying to get with him. I'm like,
well,
what the hell?
What did the guy say? So if you were so friends with him for such a long time, what did he say?
No, he would defend me.
And what did your other friends say?
Well, I think honestly, like she was like very like, oh, like I don't know, like our friendship just went to shit because of that. Like,
well, yeah,
legit. But she was very like, oh, like whatever my mom says, whatever my parents say. And then she was like, oh, I don't believe my mom, this, that. And I don't know what made her think.
Be honest, looking back, you don't think you did anything that was kind of crazy?
No.
And they're just one of those people like, we know people like that who are
no,
very
but
like.
honestly, dude, she was not a good person. She became like a cheater, this and that. She blocked. I don't know. I don't really care, you know? Like, no offense, but like she wasn't really that good of a friend. And then
Conway told Jonathan the other day, it says a lot that you thought she was drunk.
Yeah.
That's what Jonathan was talking about, the whole like, oh, well, actually was this.
Yeah, and you
And
think
you're like,
back,
well, what does it say about you? I was like, well,
yeah,
shit,
that's true. That's what I.
that's the thing too. Okay, so that friend, cool. You weren't wise enough.
Yeah.
Any other complications you have with friends?
Mm,
You're already smiling. That's a hell yes.
really?
Well, girl, I'm telling you, if you keep having conversations with friends, then maybe you're the problem.
No.
If you're the common denominator or something, yes, you are the problem.
What the hell, Giovanni? At that point, that was not. Well, that friendship was not like. I didn't really care about it.
But true, yeah. What are the complications we had with friends?
The Maggie thing. But I mean, that was on me. I did something I should have not done. That ruined my friendship with her. But I mean, at that point, I'm kind of like, well, maybe she was just no longer supposed to be in my life too. Because I feel like everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, oh.
True, but I also think sometimes yes, but you can't take. Obviously, you said both. You said it was because it makes you take accountability for it, but also it's true. Things happen for a reason, you know. But it goes both ways. But also that also doesn't make sense because of the other day conversation. What you just said. Well, the conversation because you're like, oh, this and that. Well, if that's the truth, then you want to reach out to someone because you already know it's like, oh, it's over. Yeah, it doesn't make sense both ways.
Yes, Giovanni, but like the thing is that it was more like for me to like let go of that friendship because again, like she was like my college friend.
Question: How long are you guys friends for? Actual friends. 'Cause you said time means something.
20 no. If I started, I graduated 2018. Well, no.
20. No sé.
Puta.
No sé, girl.
2017.
2017. Okay.
No. That was in college. 18. Let's say 2019.
Put it close.
Let's say 2019.
Okay.
2019 until the beginning of last year.
2024.
Mm-hmm.
Like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty good friendship.
Well, the thing is also too, I think it was
because mind you say, oh, Eric and Brian, I know for a while.
It's because the thing is with her, it was more of that college, you know, like how they're like, oh, you have that college friend, this and that. And honestly, dude, like, yeah, like I met her in my ASL class and she knew ASL. We would practice together, this and that. We weren't in our graduation party because for peers. Huh. And then when we graduated CSUN, she was there for my graduation party, you know, so she like saw like she was still working on her bachelor's and stuff. So it was kind of like we saw each other grow in that aspect, you know, and like we would stress and we're like, dude, we have a test, this and that, blah blah. So I think it was nice because it was someone that was like on that level with me, and was kind of going through the same thing. So it was nice, you know. She was the only like I mean I made other friends in college too, but I never really got like they never became friends outside of school, if that makes sense. Like yeah, like it was kind of more like acquaintance. Like when you would go and you would be like, hey, this and that, and you would talk after school or whatever, but you would never like link up or like that sounds weird, link up. You would never like go out with them out and stuff like that. So I think that was also a friendship that I'm like, oh fuck, you know? Like but again, it's kind of something that like I learned that I'm like, oh, okay, well, like it was on me.
What did you learn from it?
To never do that again.
No, but what did you learn from it?
What do you mean?
There's always a life lesson in everything. What was your life lesson in that one?
To never mix friendship with please. Why is it going off? I don't know.
Because you're twisting the thing.
I'm not twisting it.
No, the cord. Like you just said, in the other friendship, I learned that sometimes a parent is very involved in someone, which I told you.
Well, no, but it wasn't even because of the parent. I just think that like she was just. I don't know if it's because they kept telling her that she started believing it too.
Yeah, for sure. That's when a parent is too into. Yeah. And I mind you, I do know friends like that too. Where I was like, damn.
But I don't think the mom liked me anymore.
Which is fine.
Because she stopped becoming friends with Joanne, and Joanne was very like a pure person. I still follow Joanna.
Yeah. What's that point? So like,
and so she kind of thought that like I was the reason why like they stopped being friends, and how dare I,
yeah. So it could be
that person.
That's what I'm saying. You're not after you learn that an outside source can influence a relationship, whether it be a friendship relationship. So what was the life lesson with that?
The same thing with this one. I don't know. I think not to let other things interfere on a friendship, and never mix like other people in friendships as well. In that one too.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean?
You have to understand that people have no idea what you're saying.
Well, people don't need to understand that one.
Okay, well, okay, fine. We don't need to know exactly, but what's the life lesson? I still don't know what you're saying.
I just told you.
No, honestly, I don't even know what you're saying.
I said no third party interferes with a friendship. It's another thing though too. It's someone.
So it's like twice where you feel like an outside person interfered with your friendship.
Yes, but I also did that on myself for the last.
So now I go back to the other question. If you're the common denominator, then you have to find out that's something you have to work on.
Yeah, but that other one was not I was not the common denominator on the other one. I know I fucked up in my other friendship, but at the end of the day though too, it's like if someone really thinks that I like with the Maggie one, it's very different from That's what. Yeah, you're trying to say that it's the same thing.
I'm just saying.
You just said that I'm the common denominator.
I'm saying common denominator.
No, puta, that's what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying, if it's like 4 friends and all 4 friends are like, you as a shitty friend, you just be like, hey, friend, how are you as a friend? That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm trying to say?
No.
What? It's like if you have 4 exes and all 4 exes, that person's a bitch.
Oh yeah.
Then you're okay after self-reflect. Maybe I am one.
No, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, oh no, with Maggie, I mean, like, I understand. I don't think I understand where she came from in a sense, but like I do and I don't. In one aspect, yes, right? Because I did fuck up real bad in that aspect. In the other one, I'm kind of like, I don't understand why you felt this way.
What do you mean? Because I guess you're trying to say from her perspective, like I don't get it. Okay.
Yeah, in one perspective, I'm kind of like I don't get it, but in the other one, I'm like, okay, I did cross that line.
Yeah. So from what perspective you say you don't get it?
The person that she wasn't talking to.
Yes, we have to understand, as you always say, like, you hold your friend to a higher standard than the person.
Yes, but what I'm trying to say is that, like, she dangled that more than the other thing that happened. Does that make sense?
What do you mean?
I'll tell you later. But whole point being...
No, hold up. I don't get it.
No, then you won't get it until later. Because I kind of feel like that's just with...
She felt away because of the situations. I'm going to tell you why.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I understand in one situation, for sure. I totally get on that situation. But on this one, I'm kind of like, why did you hang this one more than this one? Because this one, it made more sense for you to hang on over my head. Does that make sense?
I understand that. I guess.
But I think it's also...
I get her perspective. I can get her perspective.
But I think it's more...
If it happened once, it could happen again.
No, but I also think it's more like... that's where the camel broke its back.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, one time...
But I also feel like... But I also feel like she kept bringing up the first person.
Why? Because... I'm going to tell you why. It could be anybody, right? It happens the first time... Okay, the whole... Let's say you asked me about my friendship, right? Conversation started. I haven't told you. If it happens again, you better make sure this time you say it, it's not...
What are you talking about?
My situation, you talked about the whole friendship thing.
Oh, okay.
So let's say like it happens again, and I told you this time, I don't give a fuck if you even think I'm flirting, or maybe if I am flirting. Until you see me try to tongue kiss her, or we're tongue kissing each other, or I'm actually having sex with her, don't accuse me of that, right? Why? Because as soon as you do it, I'm gonna be like, okay, cool. This is not only the second time. I'm gonna bring up the other shit you said from the first time. Same situation. That's what you're talking about with her. She's like, okay, cool. First time, did I like it? Probably not, but whatever. Keep pushing. Once you do the second time, all right, cool. All that shit that I didn't tell you the first time, here we go again. So you did this. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like almost like, okay, fuck it. Like, let's bygones be bygones. Almost like you see your parents kind of throwing it under the rug type of thing. Maybe she was the same way. Because the first thing happened, I didn't like it, but you know what? Let's move past it. Once I see the second thing happening, right? And like I said, which is true. We talked about the other day, just today on the phone. It's like, if it happens once, it can happen again, right? You think, oh, it's going to happen again? Cool. Before this happens again, I'm going to let you know what happened last time. I'm going to get my shit off. Why'd you do boom, 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 whatever she felt about it, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, bro, seriously? Like, that's how you moving? You get what I'm trying to say? I think that's why she probably felt, because it's like, and it's true. It's like, if you do it one time, what's going to stop you doing it again?
It was more like, her thing was like, oh, I would never let a guy come in between us. And I was like, whoa.
Yes, but
Hold on.
But who let it come
Hold
between
on,
us?
I
You or
know.
her?
Her.
No.
Yes. Because
No.
okay, hold on. I know I did certain actions. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like obviously with the first person it was just more like not that I guess like I asked for permission, which I don't feel like I needed to at that point because it was
Well, that's the thing.
and in my head it was kind of it's more like this.
If it's nothing wrong, you know that's permission.
It's more like fair game because I think that's what happened with you too, right? Hold on. When you were talking about
Oh yeah, huh?
right? And like that someone else like okay, so there was one person in your life, right, that like you were talking yeah, you were talking not that you were talking to, right? But like it was kind of like you were like, no, not really that not my person.
Oh, hold up.
But then hold on.
Question: Are you talking about the conversation in the car?
It was Starbucks.
I was
yeah.
joking.
Puta Jova.
I was a joke. Okay, but same situation though.
What the hell, dude? Why would you lie to me?
Because I looked at you now, I was like, oh yeah, and I was just joking. But hold up, pause right there.
So you're lying to me.
I told you then.
What the hell?
I
No,
did
you
say.
didn't.
Te lo juro, I said just joking.
No.
Te lo juro. You didn't listen
But
to
we're
me.
at the Starbucks line?
Yes.
You did not say that.
And I'm gonna tell you
and
why.
I have you on recording if you did say that supposedly.
That's fine. I just say it.
You did not say that because I didn't hear you.
I signed it to you.
Okay. No, you didn't.
I ran laugh. No, but for that never happened. Okay, but same situation.
Let's say.
Right?
Let's
It happened.
say.
Cool.
Hold on.
I'm different
Is
though.
it fair
Watch this.
game?
No.
Hold on.
Why, okay.
Is it
you're
fair
asking
game?
me?
Yes.
Jovany Ventura on the podcast. What I always say, all of mine are mine. Don't touch mine. A girl that I dated in a relationship, I even touched with nothing. All mine are mine. I don't share. I've always been that way. I mind you, also too, I don't play that game with people. Guys are bullshit. They say all mine are mine, but I can go play with yours. I don't play that bullshit. All mine are mine. All yours are yours. I'm not going there. You get what I'm saying? And trust me, not to sound fucked up or anything. I have friends who can pick up, and all the girls were attractive, but it's like, nah, I'm not going there. You get what I'm trying to say? Me and my cousin Carmen and Kevin, same thing. Oh, Kevin's was extreme. He's like, as long as friends, maybe, but as long as for sure it's a cousin or a family member or a brother, once I know they've been there, I'm not going there, even if I find her the most attractive. You're asking me, Jordan Turo, if it's because trust me, I know many guys who are like, oh, mine, don't touch them, but then they'll try to go for their exes. I don't play that bullshit.
I think in that
I don't play that bullshit.
I think in that moment, I think I fucked up because I was trying to play wing woman.
No, the problem there is that
no, I no. And I say this because it wasn't the first time that I did this. In a sense of me trying to help her, or not even her, but like just well, no, it was her. I tried to help her link up with somebody, and I was like, but that person was trying to pursue me. But instead, I was like, I wasn't interested, and I was like, oh, you could be interested in my friend. They're like, oh no, I want you, and I was like, no, like, but I always tend to do that though, right?
Okay.
Because I try to always, and even that time too. One time I was getting hit on at Dodger Stadium. And they wanted my number, but at that point I was in a relationship, and I was like, "Oh no, you can have my friend's number." And they're like, "No, I want your number." And I was like, "No, but you know, but it's true. Like I've always tend to do that, and I think that's another lesson because even Jazz could vouch for me on that too, because she even told me too. She's like, "You need to stop doing that because and then it causes you to be in problems, right?" So that's why I said the second one, I take full accountability. Fuck, like I fucked up that. I mean, shit, blame it on the liquor because, I mean, I can't really blame it on the liquor now because, but I'm like, I don't fucking remember. If no one has never told me what happened that day,
yeah,
I probably would have been walking here without knowing what happened, which kind of is scary. But again, I'm like, I'm still taking accountability because it was still me doing what I did. But
and obviously you told them also.
Yeah, but going back to and that's what people were like, don't say anything this and that. And I'm like, well, no, because I feel like if I was vice versa, I would want to know, because I kind of feel like that's fucked up. Me personally, as a person, like,
what's what I'm saying? Okay, so vice
maybe
versa.
I would have done like a fucked up shit, but I'm still a
so
person that would
flip it. You asked
something.
me that question. Would you be cool with Jazz or just any friend hooking up with your exes or someone you've been with?
No.
So then stop with this whole, like, I don't see her perspective.
Well, no.
What if she's like that?
It's not. No. What I'm trying to say about that, the first person was more like, I was trying to, like, link them up, but it kind of went, like, kind of backfired because one, it just didn't ended up going the way they planned it to go.
Uh-huh.
And I was kind of like the wing woman for both of them, and I was trying to like, oh, like you guys should talk this and that, blah blah. And then she's like, well, I'm just too busy and this and that. And he's like, oh, like he's not really talking to me, and it was just like this whole thing, right?
Uh-huh.
And then like with me and that other person, we would talk and would like this and that, blah blah blah. But we also had a lot of history because we grew up together. So I think that's where I fucked up because I didn't think of that person in that way until I started talking to them, and then I was like, okay, well maybe I could develop like feelings for this person, and I think that's where I fucked up, you know.
So
Then I stopped. Hold on, I stopped thinking about her and I started thinking about myself.
So you do want something with that person then?
Not necessarily.
That's what you just said. Pause it there. You just recorded.
I said yes. I know, Jovany, but I'm not saying that. I'm saying develop feelings as in like, okay, like not that I wanted something with this person because honestly, I'm like I never saw myself with the person like him. But again, like I'm like, oh, like why I would be down to hang out or whatever. Because again, it was always like a nostalgia type of thing that we would talk about, like, oh, like growing up, like we had the same babysitter. Oh, remember when this happened, blah blah, this and that, blah, like, you know, type of thing. And then and I think that was like the conversation that me and him would have, and that they wouldn't have. And she's like, oh, he hasn't even texted me. When I knew he was he would text me. Does that make sense? So then I kind of felt like fuck, you know. And I told her, and she's like, oh well, no, it's okay. Like in a sense, like you could have him, type of thing, you know. But I think I've had tendencies of constantly doing that, like you know, like my friends want to talk to somebody. I'm like, oh, I know someone that, you know, but those people are interested in me, and they're like, oh, well, why are you trying to hook me up with your friend if I'm trying to take you out, you know? I'm not trying to take your friend out. Like, that's weird.
Yeah.
But I've always been like
it's
that.
simple just to reject and be like, oh, I'm not interested, and then you never talk to that person.
Yeah.
Instead of having that person in your life,
yeah,
which you have a hard time letting go.
But I think that's
because a guy could be always like, oh, I'm not interested, and then okay, move on. But instead you're like, oh, I still want this person around. So it's like, oh, you can be here, and somehow you're still connected with me, and you're still around, type of thing.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah, but I think that's
What's the thing too? It's like, okay, so like now it's like, so you said the person you were growing up, this and that, right?
Yeah.
So then how do you set a boundary now after everything that just happened?
What do you mean?
Well, you just said you grew up with that person, this and that.
Yeah. Oh, that door is closed, honey.
Yeah, but how do you know that door's closed?
Because it is.
How do you know that?
Because I wouldn't like keep in contact with that person. I think it's also you have to understand that.
Yeah,
like,
but that person can try to get in contact with you.
That's true. I
That's
mean,
my
I
point.
can't deny that.
So then how you know the door's closed? That's what I'm saying.
You could just block the person. I mean, I don't think that's like.
But what I'm saying is, wouldn't that person be blocked if you already said that?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. So
then no, that's what I'm like. So
then it is no. I'm saying so then you closed it. Well, that was my question. I'm asking you.
Yeah.
You're saying you closed it because after the situation, you know what? Gotta remove myself. I'm gonna just block that person because it's just.
Well,
like
I just remove myself in all sorts of situations because I'm like, well, one, I'm like, fuck, I fucked my own friendship up because of a fucking guy.
Well, that's what I think. But when did you make the decision? Because you're smiling.
To me, I'm like, yeah. Well, when we got together, I think I started closing all my doors that I had open with everybody, actually, because I think like how you just said,
yeah,
I always had a hard time closing the doors. So you're the lucky one that I was able to close.
Well, no, it's not that.
And it is true,
no,
though.
It's not that.
No,
well,
no. Hold on. Now we're changing the whole subject on my fucking relationship because
no, we're not changing subject. It's just like, how did you close the door in the sense of it? Because you said it affected this and that.
No,
a friend, this came
but
between.
That's what I'm trying
so how
to
do you
say.
then close the door, being like, dude, I'm not.
Well, that's what I'm
I know.
trying to say,
I play with fire. I got burned. I'm done with this. I need to turn this off.
But either way, let's say if that person, let's say that person comes in, and if let's say I don't have them blocked or whatever, me.
Huh?
Let's say, I'm telling you, let's say I don't have that person blocked.
Okay.
In a sense of like Instagram, whatever, you don't reply. You don't see the message. You just delete it. Why is it like a thing that like, oh, I'm gonna block fucking 300,000 people?
No. See, no, I disagree with what you're trying to say. I haven't blocked every ex.
Yeah.
I haven't. Some actually, you're right. They can hit me up if they ever.
But
feel
that
free
person
to.
was never next. But yes.
You're right. The only point I'm trying to make is certain people do get blocked.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fair to say
But
that.
also, too, you have to understand that. What about if those people don't even come and try to contact you? You know those people that, like, you know that they would contact you back?
Yeah.
And you know those people that wouldn't contact you
Doesn't
back
matter.
at all.
Certain people, I'm saying is you should know there shouldn't be a risk. Like, once again, you just said it. Don't play with fire.
Yeah.
We're not gonna play with fire. That person you're talking about is a perfect example where no, that person should be blocked.
Yeah, but I think also, too, like, with me during that, well, I think now it's just, like, since I've been with you, obviously, like, I feel like you're my forever person. I feel. Like,
Uh-huh.
are you
On the
my
mic, you're
forever-
saying that.
Are
but,
you my
you know.
forever person?
She's saying on the mic, guys. We'll see how she actually. Well, I'll give you an update next week.
Puta
We broke
Joa.
up.
Dun, dun,
No, but
dun.
jokes aside, that's what I'm
No.
saying.
But no, seriously, because we've had a conversation about this and about my past. And I told you too, I came clean to you with mostly everything. As in mostly because of that sometimes I forget certain things.
She doesn't forget, but that's a whole different
No.
discussion.
It's not that I do forget.
You don't
like
forget.
I do. I do forget to the point that I'm like, okay, did I tell him this? Did I not tell him this? Or like,
Because you don't fully tell somebody, so you don't know
No.
what you told them. What I told them.
No,
you.
and it-
Thank
no,
you. You just explained it.
it's
Thank you.
true.
Thank you.
No, and it's
You
true.
just explained it. What you
no,
do.
and it's true
Because
though.
you don't tell me the full story, so you
well,
lie.
yeah, because
Then you go, wait, did I tell him that part? No, I didn't. That's you have to second guess
no,
yourself.
but
The story's never gonna change.
no,
A story of today, I gave you
no,
water.
I
It's
get-
gonna be I gave you water.
Oh, really? Says the one that was about. I remember how I would explain to you. I'm like, oh, remember when you tell someone how to make a sandwich, and if something happened, you don't change the story because making a sandwich is the same thing. You use two breads, you put mayo, you put. I wonder who told you this whole.
So that's
this-
one thing, but you can't.
Ah,
you-
oh,
a
why you
sandwich-
smiling?
a sandwich-
look.
a sandwich-
I got him.
No,
I
because
got you.
I'm laughing because a sandwich. Yeah, you're right. What the hell? A sandwich is
a sandwich.
No, a sandwich. So you'd be like, oh, I put everything in a sandwich except for two breads. Like, fam, you left the main part of the
you
sandwich.
used to do that too all the time.
No, I don't want to tell you anything. That's the difference.
That's a different. So what makes you any better than me?
I never said I was better.
Puta.
I never said I was better. What the hell? Stop using that one. I don't like that one. Hold up though. So
That's how our relationship's gonna be.
yes. So the point is certain people is obvious because when they come to that, you play with fire.
Well,
yeah, people just block. And I can imagine I don't have everyone blocked, but certain people I do have blocked because I'm like, all right, bro, like you're on that type of time, like no. But not
Yeah.
everybody. Like ex
But
from like anybody can hit me up. But
okay, so can I answer the question that you just said?
yes,
You said, and I quote, like, how do you know, like, you closed that door? And I was like, well, yeah, because I'm like, after like we've talked and like we've discussed our stuff, I was like, okay, well, like, you're the person I want to be with for the rest of my life. So it's like, I'm ready to close all those doors that I always had. Not like always had open, but it was like,
You did
Sam,
have open.
can I,
It's open.
puta Joa,
Okay.
can I speak?
Go ahead, girl.
We don't speak the same language. Like semi open in a sense that it's like, oh, if I wanted them around or if they wanted me around, I could just open the door again and go in. You know, it was never shut. That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to say. And
Yes.
thank you for letting me finish
That was
because
a
you
simple
were not.
that was a simple question when I asked how you know something's closed. That's all I was asking. How do you know
Yes,
something's closed?
I know, but that's what I'm trying to say. And I was how like obviously now like all of the doors have been closed from everybody.
So that's why if I were to ask you, how would you know they're closed?
I already told you.
That's what the whole point of this podcast. I've been trying to ask you, girl. How do you know something's closed?
Everyone's blocked.
See, that's the thing too. Well,
Well, to me, I'm
block.
like,
Oh, hold,
to me,
hold,
it's
hold,
kind of
hold on, hold on,
to me, it's
no,
kind of
pause.
stupid because I'm like, if I have everybody blocked in a sense, right? I kind of feel like more. It's like I could have everybody blocked, but it's like, oh, me thinking, me reminiscing. That's still not closing the door from that situation.
Sure, that's true. But no, I think my thing is because my argument would be like I told you, I don't have everyone blocked, but most of them will hit me up because it's like I always told you, not everything has to end badly.
Yes, but I'm not okay. But this is a whole different
Discussion.
scenario of situations. But that's a whole different topic of
Yes.
what we're going.
So
for now.
continue after that situation with the whole Maggie thing. How have friends challenged you since then? Do you feel so challenged? Not much of a challenge anymore, or not really?
What do you mean?
Well, you just said it. The Maggie one taught you it was a challenge because of the whole situation, right?
Well, yeah. I just
After
think
that,
like,
have you had another challenge?
I had many, yes.
What's another one?
Um.
Because you said how
Well, like you know how like
a third party being an influence happened to you twice.
I think it's actually always been a third influence.
But also because you're always in a group of 3. Also, you said it too.
Yeah, that's what I said too. That's what I was about to say. I think.
So you're no offense, is what I'm saying. The whole point, you're getting accountability, right?
But I'm not. Are you trying to say that I'm the problem?
I'm not saying
I'm about to
what I'm
start
saying
problems
is,
right now with
no,
you.
but that's what you see everyone's perspective. It's like, okay, what role I play? Well, yes, most times best friends is of 2s, right? You're my best friend. But when you choose 3 people, you're always gonna have that third person, the third party. So you said yourself we're always parties of 3.
Yeah.
So you're allowing that to be an issue in your friendships because you're allowing 3 people dynamic.
Yeah. No,
that's what I'm saying.
I think
because it's very different. For instance, like we go, no, I have one friend and I have other friends. This is my best friend, right?
Yeah.
You establish that. But if you play with that whole 3 dynamic, then you're gonna have 3 dynamic problems. That's all I'm trying to say.
You know what's so funny though? I think that's what I just learned in my last friendships, like my last trio friendships, that like 3 is just not a good number.
It's not.
You know, so I'm like, if I have kids, we're either having 1
or 2.
What's
the thing? It's an odd number.
I don't want to have 3.
Someone's always left out.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want that.
Okay,
so it's either 1, 2, 1, 2.
No question.
3,
I'm not saying you're the problem because also too, there's the opposite problem of having only one best friend. That's all you have really, one friend.
One best friend.
Yes, but most times
because you can still have friends.
Yes, but most of the time that best friend when you told everything to.
Yeah.
You can't go to any other friend because that's the one friend you go to, and that's allowed to put on one person, and vice versa. So there's positive and negatives to everything. That's what I'm trying to say.
No.
All I'm saying is you keep bringing up the same situation. Oh, a third party. I'm like, well, yeah, because you're participating in a third party dynamic.
I mean, I think that's what I learned in this last friendship that I was in.
Go ahead.
Puta, Joa.
I
feel like I could talk more about friends because you don't have any friends.
Okay, you know what's funny? You stop with that one? No, stop. I was gonna say, after the fucked up shit you just said, I think I have friends.
You had.
No, I still have friends. I just don't have a best friend because I'm the opposite, right? And obviously accountability. That's something I decided to do, which I have to do, which is fine, right? I don't have no one.
You have acquaintances, I feel like.
That's fine. I don't have. That's your perspective. I don't have one person I can just go to like a best friend, right? Because I've always felt, no, if I could deal with something, deal with it on your own, right?
Yes,
so
but that's not good. But yeah,
that is fine. I should just tell you, your thing is not fine. I'm not saying it's perfect. No one. That's like I do one thing, you do one thing. There's always bad and good in any situation.
Yes.
Good thing is I can rely on myself. Bad thing is, yes, I don't have any really close friends. I have friends, but not like damn, like my
homies,
like the one like you know, say, oh, that friend that I will die for. No, and no one should die for me, and I wouldn't die for them. You know what I'm trying to say? But
best friend, maybe.
Okay, so like I said, like friends.
That's fucked up, Jovany.
Dude, it's because like I'm trying to express myself, and you're trying to choose. Question: be honest with you. We had this conversation with.
That's fucked up, dude.
Don't cry.
You're actually my best friend.
Am I really your best friend?
Yeah.
Why are you crying? Oh, because I am your best friend. You know what's funny? This is the first time.
That's fucked up, dude.
No, I'm being honest. Don't cry. Like you're crying. You know what the funny thing?
That's fucked up, Jovany.
No, but you know what the funny thing is?
The fact that you don't think that I'm your best friend.
You are my best friend, Pama.
You don't tell me that.
Okay, but mind you. Okay, hold up. Mind you, she's getting a little teary-eyed. Okay, watch this. That's the first time you've ever said that.
Jovany, I don't think I'm gonna tell you.
Okay, right there. Then what was the second turn? Like, oh, she a little crying. Honestly, I wish.
I want a penguin.
I wish I had the visual. I could have recorded that and then made a moment like, Jovany made Edith cry.
Yeah.
Honestly, they wanted a badass clip to build. Okay, but watch. Do you generally feel that, right? Then the next term you said it was like, well, I don't have to say it, and then you said, oh, why didn't you say it? So it is important, and you don't say it's not. Because it is important to say it.
No, but in a sense, I told you right now, and you didn't say anything. You're like, oh, and you kept talking. That's fucked up. Dude.
That's for...
you didn't validate me.
That was for a comedic effect.
No, that's
honestly,
not funny,
that would have worked. I won't be like, oh my God. Now, mind you, do you feel like I'm your best friend?
Yes.
Which is why it affected you.
I don't feel like it. I know you are.
Okay, now here's the second part. Why don't you say it?
Well, why do you, baby? It'll be like, baby, I do. I have told you, I'm like, you're my lover.
No, lover and best friend. So, mind you, I feel the same thing too. The reason what I was gonna go after making the joke was I always felt, which is we talked about even the day we went to Odyssey. I said, well, the whole marriage thing. What do you see version? Like, we have two different terms of that, right? Yeah, the one went to
Oh, when we went to
yeah. And we were discussing like, what do you see as like
Yes,
a marriage, or what do you
yes,
see?
yes,
What do
yes.
you define marriage? Because we all have different definitions.
Yeah.
Same thing as best friend. I just told you, I never had a best friend, but I had a lot of friends, right?
Yeah.
Super people I've been cool with. I always hit them up and top them, right? But not a best friend.
Mm-hmm.
The bad part of that is, well, you're just more alone, right? So I always felt, well, I'm not really, like you said, it's not good that you don't really express this and that. So what I always thought was, okay, when I find my person, that will be my best friend where I can like divulge everything to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's one of the situations where even when we first started talking, we talked about it in the podcast how like we had issues. One of those was that though. It's like, okay, like I've heard many things that we talk about, like girls be like, oh, like I really like you. Does she really? Call it Jada, whatever you want to call it. Oh, I love you. Do you really? Oh, like I see myself with you, but like you always say for how long? You know what I'm saying? It's always the opposite.
Yeah.
So it's very like I'm not gonna just start opening up and putting shit on. So I'm like, are you gonna be there for that long? I don't know that. How do I really know that? Just be honest, right? So that's why I know you saw your best friend. I'm like, yeah, that's why I see marriage, or even not just marriage, but just being with somebody. It's like, yeah, that's your person, and that's the person that legit, like you said, you're gonna see through the highs, lows, everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I view it.
Yeah.
So obviously you would want that, and the other person, obviously, I always say I wouldn't want to date myself, but certain things I would want in a partner, like legit, where I feel like we're similar,
Mm-hmm.
right? That is one of them. It's like no, it's like I've always been the one. Like most of the time, people tell me their problems. I never submit my problems to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would hope that one day if I find somebody, yeah, I don't have to just carry everything in the sense of like, oh well, here you just I'm venting, but you can never vent. Like, no, man, sometimes I want to say like how I feel, and
Yeah.
not be judged for it. 'Cause that's the thing too. The worst thing is you say something and then be judged for it.
Yeah.
You get me? So obviously, no, obviously, yeah, you are my best friend. But the thing is too, it's like we had a discussion too. It's like not so much now, but now with you, even in my past, people tell me like, well, it's I feel like I tell you more and you tell me less. So I'm like, no, trust me. I'm telling you a lot more than you would think so. But obviously, it's like I have to warm up to that perspective.
Puta,
It's like,
no offense, but I feel like I tell you my whole life, and then like you're like, oh well, this happened this time, and I was like, okay, I just told you what happened like since I was like a baby to like now.
Yes.
Maybe I did like cut a few like things off, but like most of these things did happen. And but I just get like one scenario. I'm like, that's it? That's all you're gonna give me?
Well, the thing is too, it's like,
But see, that's the thing though too. I don't think that's fair. Because it's like shit, I'm giving you this whole load of like not like of work, but of processing, and you're not giving me shit back. So then but you expect the whole world, and then you're not giving it back.
So it's the same thing you being like, hey, I expect you to do X, Y, and Z because I need that in a relationship, but then you don't do it in return.
Well, you
No,
see
but-
how we're changing
Perspectives
on things.
No, but honestly, jokes aside, no, but I've been more forthcoming. Now I don't even like as soon as you ask, I just tell you.
Yeah.
Well, upset you or not, I'm like, hey, well, you told me to tell you, so just
Okay, I like how we're going to not friendships now.
no friendships. It's still friendships. Why?
You're
No, yeah, it
talking
was.
about our
No, this is
relationship.
a friendship of the sense of you don't have a best friend. That type of situation. Well, no. Well, what friendship
Well,
is being a best friend? Because some people,
your partner becomes
no,
your best friend.
Well,
after
no, it's
once
not
you get
true.
with
That's
somebody.
not true because I've heard many people. That's why we're still talking about friendships. Is yeah, that's my wife or my husband, but I still have a best friend.
Yes.
Quote unquote, your bridesmaid, maid of honor, or your
yes.
best man.
But
That's still a thing. That's not
yes,
like it's
but
not.
I think you have to understand that like there's a different level of friendship in a relationship.
To you, not to me.
What do you mean?
So some people, I know people who are like, oh, that's my best friend. Where some things they know that even the wife knows, or even like the
Puta, you know every little dirty secret of mine now. Like,
huh?
yeah, like you know all my secrets. Like in a sense of like, you know how I told you I was gonna die with a secret one day. You don't even want to tell me the one of yours.
What are you talking about? I already told you all my secrets.
Yes, but like there was one that I was like, oh, I want to know this specific thing. And then
Which
you're
one? But
just
did I tell you sooner or later? I told you already, or I haven't told you. I feel like I've told
no,
you.
you said like, oh, that you were gonna like take someone to the grave or something, and then I was like,
I told you about that person.
no, but like I don't know how. Like I want to know. Like I want to see this person.
I don't know if you can see her. No, the whole So you're talking about. So you're talking about you taking anybody to the grave. One, yes, because she was.
Yes, but
wasn't cute.
But what I'm trying to say is more like everything that like I told myself that I was gonna take to the grave.
No, I'm saying.
And you and all, like technically my closest friends, which is like Jazz, are the only people that know about that.
my grave, quote unquote, in that scenario you're talking about. I was talking about like if we're in court and then we had sex, I'd be like, no, we didn't. Like that's what we're saying. That scenario, not in the grave of like, oh, that person, I'm ashamed of them in the sense of like I could tell you that. No, I don't remember. If you ever see her, I would say, oh, that's her. What I'm saying is like to her, I wouldn't acknowledge it because it's like, how do I explain it? Okay, if a girl like. Well, I don't know if you're talking about the podcast. Okay, this is in the podcast. Right? Let's say like this girl did like shit that like you shouldn't be messing with her. Like for instance, like okay, you told Jonathan, Ashley had told him like, oh, I'm gonna report you.
I like her using names all of a sudden.
Well, no, it's just Jonathan's situation. And because hold up, I'm gonna be honest with you, same situation, so you can understand. You said Jonathan, you said Ashley said, oh, I'm gonna restraining order, this and that, and she just said that because Ashley is obviously gone through a lot of stuff with her last ex who was married very young. He was domestic violence. You know what I'm saying? So she was saying that because almost like it's defending. John's like, whoa, like you know, like,
yeah, that was too much.
Yes. So obviously, then Jonathan was you told Jonathan, well, what does that say about you?
Yeah.
That specific situation. That's what I'm saying. It's like that girl is like. Yeah. Why are you messing with her type of thing? And so she would say, no, we did. I'll be like, no, that's what I'm saying.
Sir, we did not do that.
So no, I'm not saying in the sense of like, oh, like I'm not going to tell you, but no, that's what I meant. I guess that maybe I didn't express it. That's what I mean, where it's like, bro, like people like, really? Her? Like that? Really?
Everybody in this world.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah. Not that I'm like, oh, like secret. Like if one day I see her, I'll be like, oh, that's the girl.
What is the most important lesson you've learned from a friendship?
What's the most important lesson?
I think, what's so funny? You know how you said about me? You're like, oh, well, one thing that let me ask you this. And this is a question I really like that you said. What is one thing you learned from me in this relationship?
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking you.
Oh, I learned from you?
Yeah.
What's one thing you taught me?
Yes.
There's a lot.
There's the famous one that you said. At game night. Well, it wasn't even game night. It was a day that PT, Herman, Ulises, and Bree.
Oh, now I want to know which one. What did I say?
Puta Jova.
No, but hold up.
I wanted to make it a moment because obviously.
No, but just remind me because I know exactly what they were talking about, but now I'm kind of like, oh shit. What was the question? Maybe like we're doing prompts. You're doing the prompt thing?
What is one thing that you learned from me in the relationship?
No, I know that. I'm saying what was the prompt that we were doing that day?
I don't remember.
What did I say? Remind me.
That two people could be right.
No, oh yeah.
Well, two people could be
right. Two people could be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what I learned in a friendship that like.
Yeah, you for sure told me that.
Yeah, I feel like that. Well, I mean, your perspective, your opinion could be right, and then my perspective and opinion could be right as well. Yeah. But again, like, we're two different people, right? And I think that falls back in friendships that. Let's say I say something or I do something, and then that person says something and does something or reacts a different way. I'm not saying what they did was wrong, and they can't say what I did was wrong. You get me? Because again, if I felt some type of way, then I'm gonna end up doing this, or if that person felt some type of way, So I think that's what I learned from my friendships. That like obviously I applied to our relationships. That I'm like, oh well, I can't get mad at someone for feeling this way or doing this when I feel like this and whatever. And I'm like, she's right and I'm right, or she's wrong and I'm wrong too.
Yeah. How do you think that applies to you the way you're saying it?
What do you mean? Like now?
Yeah. Do you feel like that's what you're saying? Just obviously you grew from that, or are you just saying you also view that situation of two people being wrong and right in your friendships now?
I think looking back at my friendships, yeah, I could see how that like could apply it and stuff. But I think now, like getting older, I do view it more like that. I'm like, okay, like let's say the Maggie situation. She's not wrong the way she feels, but then I also am not wrong to feel the way I feel. But again, in a sense, we're two different people, right?
Yeah.
So she's gonna see it her way, and I'm not gonna be like, oh, well, she's wrong for that, because I feel like in the beginning I felt like that's how I felt, right? Like I'm like, oh, she's wrong, this and that, blah blah blah. But then now I'm kind of like, okay, well, she's not wrong for feeling the way she does, and then also if I view it differently than
It's okay.
does, then it's okay too.
But well, yes.
But in a sense of how I feel about it,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm like, again, like how I said, I'm like, me and you, yeah, we're together, but we're very different, and we view things differently.
Yeah.
We don't wear the same lenses, plus. You could, let's say you're a type of person that thinks outside the box, and I'm a person that thinks inside the box, right? But that doesn't mean that I'm wrong nor that you're wrong. You just think of things differently than I do in situation, because let's say you have experience with certain things that I don't have experience in, right? So you know more, so you think outside the box of it, and I'm like inside the box, that I'm like, I don't know. It's just different, right? So it's obviously uncomfortable when you go outside the box with so I think that's what I have learned
Yeah.
with all of that. Sorry. But what about you?
Through friends.
Yeah.
What's the question? The biggest life lesson you took?
The question is, what is the most important lesson you've learned from a friendship?
That friendships can also be friendships can be like any other relationship. It can be broken, but it can also be amended.
Well, you know what's so funny? That was another question that I had. It was, what are some ways to rebuild a friendship after a fallout?
I think it would be the same thing with any relationship or.
It wouldn't be the same though.
Well, actually, I have one about the friendship. The one that Jonathan, I think, was a great question, but we'll talk about that one.
What?
We'll stick to this one and remind me. I think it could be.
I don't know what you're talking about though.
I think it's the same thing as a relationship in the sense of like, two people have to try.
Yeah.
Two people have to have a conversation, move past it, and then work at it.
Well, I had a fallout with Jocelyn, right? But I think it was more on her convenience that she wanted to be friends again, because she didn't have any friends, right? Because she had a fallout with Joanne. She came to me. We started talking again. She's like, "I'm so sorry." This and that. We started talking. Cool. But me and her kind of started like como que sin nada, because we did have a conversation, but it was kind of more like como que sin nada, right? Kind of went back to like how it used to be. And then my friendship now, my friend Jazz, I mean, we had a fallout too. But
You guys only had one fallout.
we only had one fallout. But
You had a conversation.
During that fallout, it was more like we were not good at communicating.
That's what I'm saying. Both people had a conversation. Both agreed. Not agree. Both acknowledged like, yeah, we're bad at like trying to get our point across.
I think at that point we were. One, I don't think we were trying to hurt one another, but then without us not wanting to hurt one another, we weren't even helping each other in that sense.
Yeah, fair.
So I think that's where everything went to shit, because I started feeling some type of way. She started feeling some type of way. We would just sweep it under the rug, let things be like, fixed by themselves. And obviously we started learning that, hey, that doesn't happen, like you have to actually talk about things. We talked about stuff. But yeah, like obviously the relationship has changed between me and her.
Do you think for the better or the worse? Ever since that conversation?
I think for the better.
Good.
And I think that's also where I learned kind of also not to how do I say it? Like to set boundaries. Or to know my boundaries as a friend too.
In what way?
because I feel like I would always overstep and overshare in friendships.
Okay. Overshare as you mean your personal life, or overshare in the opinion of
Both.
her life and also her, like, just in general, like her life with her, let's see, her parents or her friendships
Both.
or her relationship. So
Both.
you would overshare, and then also
I would overshare. No. I would
Okay.
overshare my life,
mm-hmm.
and then in a sense of like relationships and stuff like that, right? Because obviously, your friends have opinion of your partner, this
Yeah.
and that, but like they always say, like you could always forgive your partner, but your friends will never forgive your partner.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I think that's more of not to be sexist or anything, but I think that's more of a girl thing than a guy thing, or maybe just me. I can differentiate like
It's a girl's thing for sure.
because I feel like the way I think is like, hey, I'll help you out, right? But let's say if I'm cool with the person you're with, right? If they're cool with me, I'm not gonna be an asshole to them, you know. But also, it sucks unless it gets like physical. It's different, right? Because I'm a guy. But what I'm saying is like if he's being a dick to you and you're being a dick to him, and the same would happen, I'm like, well, you guys are both being dicks to each other. You get me? That's the way I see it.
Yeah, but I mean,
Unless it's just one side of him being a dick, or like I say she's being like a bit. But all right, you know what? Maybe I will hear different. But then it's like it's not a relationship.
yeah, but I get that, but I'm not like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like we learned that too, and I try my best not to overstep now. But I obviously do want the best for her, so I feel like I opinionate on things because of that.
Okay.
But
And that's something you feel like even you know that you shouldn't be doing.
yeah. Oh, for sure. But I've been so much better now than before, because back then I feel like I had just a big ass mouth and I would just say whatever I thought in my head, and then sometimes it would come and bite me in the butt because I was like, oh, I should have not said that,
Yeah.
But again, I think just the more like older I'm getting, the more I'm acknowledging the shit that I've done or that I've been through, or the things that I will do, or how I could handle it better, But I think all of that comes with time too, and experience, right? Because I feel like with friends, as I said too, I'm like,
well, yeah,
maybe
it's called life lessons.
Yeah, I'm like maybe 3 friendship ideal is not
Yeah, the whole
ideal.
three-way dynamic is just not for you anymore.
It's not for me. But also too, not mixing friendships, not mixing friends that much. It's also not a good thing.
Oh, you mean like one group of friends and one group of friends?
Oh,
and
yeah.
You mix them. Yeah, I've never understood that when
I did that, and I think, and also it came and bite me in the butt.
How did that one bite you in the butt?
It was like well, like the whole Maggie and Jazz and all of that, like.
They didn't fuck with each other.
No, it was more like if Maggie never met her people, like Jesus brothers and all of that, like things would have not been the way they were.
I disagree with what you're saying.
No, I feel like things wouldn't be like. Trust me, I know what I'm saying. Trust me, or like not mix those friend groups, because I feel like they were very different from one another. And Jazz also has like a type of like, no, I don't like people like that sometimes. It was
no. That I agree with. I just don't agree with you saying how that situation wouldn't have happened if they wouldn't have mixed. I don't think that situation correlates with them mixing. Yes, I understand what you're saying.
No.
Like,
yeah,
you think so?
Trust me. Yeah. Because my friendship with Maggie has always been very different from my friendship with Jazz.
For sure.
Always, like obviously they're two different people.
Oh yeah.
It's example like now. It's like my friendship with Jazz now is very different from my friendship with Leslie.
Yes. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. So let's say Leslie goes to hang out with Jazz's people. Obviously, she'd be like, "Whoa, it's a lot, right?" But mind you, the situation you're talking about, if they say they would have met and this would have happened, I'm like, that has nothing to do with they're just meeting each other. I'm saying Leslie probably be like, "Dude, I'm not really cool here. Like, kind of feel different."
That's what I'm.
That's one thing, but still, that's what you're talking about. It's like, well, you still mess with the friends group. You get what I'm saying? that has nothing to do with that situation. You know what I'm trying to say? Now,
But I was the
if,
common denominator
true.
in those groups.
Yes,
That's what
but
I'm
that's
trying to
true.
say.
But what I'm saying is,
But that's the thing, though.
But
Too.
let-
I decided to like mix.
oh
if
no,
that
no,
makes sense.
that part is true. That's why I'm not denying that, which
That's what I'm
is a life
saying.
lesson. I just don't. The other part you're saying that doesn't correlate with, from my perspective. Because I'm saying is, let's say Leslie could have been like, "Hey, we're cool, but can I be honest with you? I don't really fuck with them. Like, I'm not. That's not my vibe."
Yeah.
Which I understand too, because I told you all the time. Like I told you all the time. If I'm at a club or a strip club, and I say I'm with my cousins, which cousins do you think I'm with? Or I'm at a bar, which cousins do you think I'm with?
Kevin and Calvin.
I didn't say anything. And if I say, "Oh, I'm at playing games and I'm playing D&D,"
Teddy and Derek.
I didn't say anything. I just said cousins. Why do you think that is?
Because just their vibe.
Now, imagine Derek.
But okay.
What up, Derek?
But Derek
Derek
just
does,
goes.
right?
Yeah.
But then if I take Taddy goes, "This isn't for me." So what I'm saying is Maggie could have been like, "Not for me." You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying is bullshit. That whole, hey, let's say if that is true. You still went, even before that was doing, you went and
Yeah.
go hooked up or talk to that person. That
Yeah.
I wasn't involved in that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
That's true.
I put
No,
you
you're
I
right.
put you in the
No.
room.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is like, yes and no. Derek, obviously you're right. Derek,
Yeah.
if this one day Derek was like, "Oh well, we went out to a bar, something happened," I'd be like, "Well, Derek, you like to drink," and then it's the same dynamic. Jesse would have been like, Teddy would have been like, this is weird. Like, I don't. Why would you tell me? You get what I'm saying? If you
Yeah.
really aren't that, I know Teddy would tell me, "Hey, no." Derek would be like, "Woo, we had a good time." And if something bad happened, I'm like, "Well, bro, I invite you because you're also that vibe."
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah.
Obviously, two totally different the way, because obviously one was Spanish, more Salvadoran. That's a whole
Yeah.
different thing. Like you're saying, this group of Maggie and this group is totally different. But I think Leslie likes to drink and likes to party, but a different version of what Jazz likes to
Party.
do. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is I understand the first part. The
yeah,
second
but
part, I don't really
I
see
think also too, it's like I learned how to like. Well, now I think
Yeah.
I learned how to like just separate it and keep it separate. If that makes
that. Yeah.
you know. And and also I feel like I'm also a different way with Leslie versus how I am with
For sure. Oh, yeah. Okay, was that a
With
good thing?
Jazz.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Do you think you're putting up a front to one person or the other? Where like, I'm one with this person, or you feel like you're
No.
just judging yourself?
No, I'm just. Well, it's just that like one is they were both my coworkers at one. Well, I mean one was still my coworker,
One's
but the
your
other
coworker,
one, you know,
So
Jazz.
clearly, coworkers and you is a thing, huh?
Yeah, Jazz started as my coworker, you know,
Yeah.
and then we develop a friendship and all of that. So, no, I just think that it's just like a different. I don't know. I think it's just different because Jazz see me through that like whole like perreo type of a phase of mine, and I'm like, I'm that bitch, and I'm like, well, now I'm kind of more like, oh, I'm a teacher. No,
You
I'm
say
not
that, but
really
you
a
always tell me how
teacher.
teachers get wild.
Yeah, but again, like that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. It's more like oh no, they do get wild. Trust me,
I know.
I've seen it firsthand. But I don't know. Just to me, sometimes I don't want to show that side of my wildness to the people that I work with.
Yeah.
And it's like a profession. You know what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say? I don't like to mix professionalism. Like if I worked at a whole shoe store, like or like back to the shoe store or like apparel, then I wouldn't care because I'm like, oh, I don't care, you know. But like now I'm like, oh, you know, I don't want to be like that. Well, we went to a whole like ¿cómo se llama? Well, I mean, you've met my coworkers and you know how crazy they are.
Yeah.
When
Okay.
the Halloween party with the boobs.
But the younger ones were crazy.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, but obviously, you know what I mean. You know?
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Going to Jonathan's question. That'll be the last question before we end this. Jonathan said,
Mm-hmm.
last thing about friendship. Why do we allow more from?
Oh yes, this was in Big Bear, no?
This was here at his party.
Oh yes, That was a good question.
That was a great question.
Yeah.
It's like, why do we allow more? Let's say fuck ups from our friends than from our relationship.
From like our partners, huh?
Yeah.
Or no, why do we forgive them
Wait, why do we forgive a friend easier than
than a partner?
A partner, yeah. Which is fair.
In my opinion, it's because even though your friendships, you should hold them into a higher standard.
You hold
Your partner is like even above that, because like how I told you to, like, in reality, you are my best friend, right? So let's say like my like the whole scale is like acquaintances, friends, best friends, and then it's like partner, you know? So it's kind of more like you're on those top levels that I'm like, well, you're my partner and my best friend. So if you do a fuck up, you know, even though I love my friends and all of that, like it would hurt more you doing that fuck up than my friends. And it would be easier to forgive my friends because it's like, well, you know what, maybe he didn't mean it like that, or maybe they didn't mean it like that, or
yeah, but the thing is, like, they can fuck up once or twice and you still talk to them 3 times, 4 times. That's the whole point.
but maybe like it's also more just like it's like a type of friend, you know?
Nah, I think we can be clear. Some people legit will be like the friends only can get away with murder and the other person can't. Like you said, it's because you have a higher standard for one than the other. But the thing is, like, it's funny. Like, we always say for better or for worse, for highs and lows. You said it yourself, right? Right? For highs or lows, you're still gonna be with that person. Yeah. Your expectation is higher than it's like nothing to be higher. But what I'm saying is like, yeah, there's gonna be low points. But as soon as there's a low point, you will leave that person. You get me?
Yeah.
And that's fucked up.
Yeah.
That was a good episode.
That was a lot.
That was a lot. You feel better about the whole friends?
No, you didn't even say anything. I feel like I talked most of the time.
First you're saying I don't allow you to talk, and now you're saying that this. I don't understand you, dude.
I don't understand you.
I don't understand you, bro. No, seriously. I don't care. No, let me see. Let me see.
Oh, you know what song you should put?
What?
This bar.
Get it?
No.
No one told you I was gonna be this way.
Well, the episode is called Friendship. So yeah, you gotta play the friends. It's a long podcast, almost 2 hours, man. You can talk for days. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I'll be there for you. I'll be there for you.
All right, guys. So next time, this is episode 42. I'm saying right now it's called Friendship.
Oh, God.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.